Hello, technical writing students. This is your instructor, Julie Gross, and today we're going to look at the collaborative resume assignment that you're going to be working on this week in class. I will share the assignment with you and your team members. You should be getting an email letting you know that the link is there for you to look at your Google Doc, and we're going to talk about what you're going to do for that this week. It says below you'll find a poorly written resume. It says I want your group to edit the resume, making it more professional and fixing the errors that you see. Again, like the other collaborative assignments that we've done, you can change information, you can add information, you can delete information if it's not appropriate or necessary. I do give you some hints on here for the format of a resume and the content of a resume. I say to pay attention to the following things, and I list 9 things here for you to look at. Number 1, make sure your job objective is focused. And like we looked at last week when we were looking at the resume, there's some examples in the book if you want to see exactly what that means to have a focused job objective. It shouldn't be generic and it shouldn't be basic in general. It should be focused and it should be very specific to the kind of job that you want. Number 2, your headings should be consistent. You're going to have headings for the different sections or portions of your resume, the job experience, the education, the technical skills, all those kinds of things. And the headings should be consistent. Your reader should be able to point them out and know those separate sections because they look similar. The font should be the same if they're underlined or if they're in bold print. Those should all be the same for each of the headings. If you have bulleted lists, your bulleted list should be straight and lined up evenly. It should be pleasing to the eye, so when we look at it, our eyes should go directly to those bulleted lists because that's what you want to draw our attention to. Number 4 says there should not be large areas of white space. Because this is a resume, you want to fill up as much space as you can because you really want your reader to know that you have a lot of information to share about yourself. So fill the page, spread out the information, don't crunch it all together in one section or one corner, spread it out so it's easy to read. Do not use abbreviations, do not use the word I in a resume, and do not use complete sentences. That's what your letter of application is for. This is short and streamlined and very concise as compared to a letter of application. Number 7, your job duties and your skills, technical skills, those kinds of things should be listed with action verbs. And again, that's something we talked about when we looked at resumes in our book. It gives us a bunch of great examples, a whole list of action verbs that you can use. Number 8 says be specific with your job duties and skills and relate them to the job being applied for. And then number 9 says keep your resume to 1 page. So you're going to look at those things when you're doing your collaborative exercise here. It does tell you what students will be responsible for what in this paragraph. And then again, I want to point out that this is a collaborative assignment. So you need to really make an effort to collaborate, to communicate, to be a part of your team. And that's going to show up in your rubric. 4 points are for individual grade assessing if you made any changes to what section was assigned to you. And 8 points will be your individual grade assessing if you actually put some effort into discussing the letter with your group members. The other 8 points will be assessed for how well your group did as a whole. How does your resume look as a whole? And here's the resume on the second page. This is what you're going to look at when your team is revising it. And again, it's split into the 3 different colors for the 3 different students in your group. Some things to look at. What isn't necessary? What should not be included in a resume? There may be full things that you're going to take out because they're not necessary or because they are not required or appropriate for a resume. Look at things like the email address. Is it an appropriate email address? Do you give out a phone number? Is the job objective clear? Are things spelled correctly? You're going to have to pay attention to those things. Again, we looked at the different headings. We talked about if the headings are similar or are the same. Is your information spread out evenly? Are your bulleted list all lined up nice and evenly? When you have job duties listed, like these job duties and these job duties, or when you have technical skills listed, do they begin with those action verbs? You're going to have to think about that. Do you see any sentences that use the word I in it? You don't want to do that. We talked about. Are there any abbreviations that are used that your reader might not know about? Are there any sections, large sections of white space that you want to fill in? So there are a lot of different things to think about when you and your group are working on this. Some of the basic resume things that we talked about in last week's video you can look back at. You can look at the book for some helpful hints. A lot of different places to look for help. But again, a big thing with this is just talking to your teammates. You're going to probably just enter down and go on to the next page where you guys can discuss some things, how you want your resume to look, what you think needs to be in there for content, and what you think needs to be in there for format, and make those changes and make this resume shine. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you. Have a great week.